Hey, and welcome to a special holiday weekend edition of The Nerve. This is what we call the Mini Nerve. My guest today is someone you all know and love, and someone some of you smutty ladies have developed a crush on. Bill from Brooklyn, otherwise known as my brother, my happily married brother. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Mo. Thank you for having me back on your show. Couldn't be happy to be here. And again, I'd like to thank you for answering the phone when I call. Being one of the few people on the face of the earth that can look Gayle King in the eye and call her a colleague. Not many of you out there, and I'm glad you still talk to the little people out there.
Well, you haven't been. And, but blood is thicker than, And also, I just want to say Gayle King is circling the drain right now because she shed about 1.9 million viewers after she began bragging all over the place that she had been to space and could only speak to other people who had been to outer space. And by the way, one of the funniest messages I got after coming back down to terra firma was from your child, who sent me a text message asking if I was back from outer space yet. And I almost fell off my chair. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this holiday weekend. Very few movies in theaters are events anymore. Very, very few. Very few movie stars can get people to take a bunch of money and a bunch of their free time and go to a theater and watch a film. And Tom Cruise is one of the only ones left. And I want this part of our chat. I'm going to put forth my case for why Tom Cruise is misunderstood and not valued enough in the culture, because as far as movie stars go, I don't think anybody's better. Okay. I'm just going to say it. Before we get into this may be a point counterpoint. I don't really know your feelings on Tom Cruise, close though we are. Let's watch this clip, which includes Matt Damon telling his own Tom Cruise story to the guys from Smartless, Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. And then it goes right into a montage of some of Tom's greatest moments in the Mission Impossible franchise. Let's take a look.
The Tom Cruises of the world who do their stunts, literally hang off a plane. And I remember I had dinner with him once, and it was after he did the one where he ran around the building.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I go, can you tell me how that happened? Yeah. And he goes, I've been thinking about this shot for 15 years. And I go, wow, really? And he goes, so I go to the safety guy, and I lay it all out. The safety guy goes, you can't do that. It's too dangerous, you can't do that. So I get a new safety guy.
Okay, so Bill, this is among the many reasons I love Tom Cruise. This is a guy, if you're going to spend $20 and 4 hours out of your day and pay babysitters to go to the movies, he's going to make sure you have the best time of your life at the movies. And he's going to make sure that you know that he's doing those stunts and risking his life. And, I treat these things like religious events. I will go by myself. When Top Gun Maverick came out, it was one of the first movies after COVID lockdown. And he did this whole introduction where he was speaking to the camera, but it felt like he was speaking to us. And he was saying, welcome back to the movies, and what a celebratory time this was. And, they made it for us. And it really was like this dopamine hit of Americana. And you didn't have to have seen the first Top Gun to appreciate the second Top Gun. There was something that felt very 80s about it, like an 80s real event movie. And I'll get to the Val Kilmer part as to why I also love Tom Cruise. But talk to me. Do you think I'm nuts?
So, first, there's a part of me that really wants to dislike Tom Cruise.
Really? Why?
I don't know if it's the Scientology or if it's the years ago jumping up and down on Oprah's couch about Katie Holmes. I mean, then I go back and, we've all done dumb things in life. I've done my fair share. I'm going to say mine were probably more alcohol related than being on Oprah's couch, but...
Well, check out Friday's show because we have some experts who say alcohol's not that bad for you, but go on.
Okay. So what he does in his movies, though, and I kind of feel like, part of the, from COVID on, I kind of look at him in a different way. That time there was during COVID, he was filming that video, the movie. It was one of the first movies in production, and there was that tape that was released of him yelling at people to stay in compliance and that they were trying to protect people's jobs.
We have that. We have that. Let's play that shot right now. This was Tom Cruise on the London set of Mission Impossible. Somehow managed to keep his film in production as most of Hollywood shut down. Let's take a look.
No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down. It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education.
Now, I loved this. I loved angry Tom Cruise. Normally, we see a very controlled Tom Cruise when he's out promoting a movie. I love an angry Tom Cruise. I love a Tom Cruise who's thinking about the people on his crew who rely on these jobs to feed their families. I love a cursing Tom Cruise. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, that to me was the first moment I felt that he actually understood, what the everyday person goes through. And he wasn't, just the movie star, the Top Gun, Days of Thunder, Mission Impossible, just living the life, living the dream. But he got what everybody was going through. And the people that were stuck home couldn't go to work, wanted to, but couldn't get out. People who were struggling financially didn't know where their next meal was coming from. You felt like he understood it in that moment. Very rare.
I think he does.
See that.
I actually think he does because he did not grow up with money. I think he grew up pretty lower middle class, and I'm being generous. If you look at his teeth in The Outsiders, his original teeth, like that was a 16-year-old kid whose parents or his mother, his dad died, I think, when he was very young and they were estranged. But that was somebody who came from a household where braces were not an option, like they didn't have $2,000 for braces. And I think that kind of thing never really leaves you, no matter how much money you make or how famous you become. And to me, it sort of strings into that work ethic that he applies. He doesn't have to, he's 62 years old. Like he doesn't have to be doing these crazy stunts where he's literally on the side of a plane that's taking off, or running around the tallest skyscraper in the world, or, coming up with these, that guy is jumping out of that plane, it. And I have so much respect for it. I really do. And when he goes and promotes these movies, he works like no other movie star. Like you would think a Tom Cruise event movie doesn't need him going around the country, popping into movie theaters, eating popcorn and talking to the average moviegoer and taking selfies. And he does it. He does it all. And I like it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I get nervous on a JetBlue takeoff and this guy's strapped to the outside of a plane to get a great shot. I mean, what he puts into his movies, you can't deny. The passion, the shots, literally laying everything on the line to make the perfect movie is fantastic. One of the things, you referenced Maverick. One of the things that I absolutely loved about that movie, and I loved the first Top Gun. I was a kid when it came out. I loved how he brought the character Maverick back to life, and with flaws, with human traits, and he was just he had been through so many people's lives and left a trail of anger and resentment and sometimes a little bit of hatred from the scene with Rooster to that whole dynamic, even to the scene where he jumps out of Jennifer Connelly's window and the little girl is there and just tells him don't break her heart again. Right? It shows the human flaws of this hotshot, of what he's done through the course of his life. It brings you up to date on how badly he has screwed up, but he's still there fighting, just like a lot of us in everyday life.
Yeah. And it's a, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, there's just, there's one, I did read an article once about another action star that had written in his contracts that he could never lose a fight in a movie. And it really, like, you think about it and you can't lose a fight, but this guy's showing all these problems with one of his most famous characters and it made the movie so much better.
It's so true that you say that, because once you learn this, you can never forget it. Like, most major movie stars, and there's a difference between actors and movie stars. I personally think Tom Cruise is both an actor and a movie star. Again, a rare breed, but most movie stars will not allow themselves to play characters that are flawed. It's like, if you can look at anything from, like, one of the movies you and I both love, Ford v Ferrari, with Christian Bale and Matt Damon. Now, spoilers, if anybody hasn't seen it, it's old enough, you should have seen it by now. Christian Bale dies in that movie. He goes up in a conflagration of flames, crashing the car. And who gives the end soliloquy but Matt Damon? It should have been Christian Bale. Matt Damon's great, but I'm sure he had it written into his contract. He's the star. He gets to have the dying man's words in his mouth. And it's the same when you watch, like, SVU, which I still do, Law and Order SVU. The Olivia Benson character is the only character who can figure everything out, who everybody needs to go to for advice, who always saves the day, and never has a personal flaw.
Yeah,
I mean, like it.
There really is something to be said to follow through and really live in the redemption of the character with him, where he comes back and he rights some of the wrongs that he's made, realizes the choices he's made. And, you referenced Val Kilmer before. Bringing him back in the way he did, and to show how that friendship maintained over so many years, right? They started off, as adversaries, as, challenging each other for the number one spot, to the
in
best
Top
of
Gun,
the
yeah.
best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to battle together, and they develop a lifelong friendship that one rises literally to the top of the Navy or Air Force, whatever it was, and naval aviators, and the other one is still floundering around, being told by his superiors that he should have been a senator, but he's just still a screw up. So you love that part of the story, that he's okay taking that one and really owning it.
You know what else I thought? And again, we'll wrap up Tom with this, but Val Kilmer, when he shot Maverick, he was very ill. He had cancer, and I believe his voice box had been removed. He had no voice. He did not have money. I don't know how he was making. I know he made a book deal. He got a book deal, and he was making art, but I think he was really struggling. And Tom Cruise not only said he wouldn't make Top Gun Maverick without Val Kilmer, but that scene that they share together, it gave Val Kilmer, who could not speak, his dignity. And in that moment, I thought, Tom Cruise has a lot of class. Like, he may be strange in his personal life, but I don't care. I am pro Tom Cruise, and I will be at the movies for the next Mission Impossible, which I'm dying to see. Okay, the next thing we need to talk about, Caitlin Clark, okay, the WNBA phenom. Last weekend, now I don't really follow the WNBA. I used to follow the Knicks. We'll get to the Knicks in a minute. But Caitlin Clark, once again, on the court is aggressed. I kind of love this word, aggressed, by Angel Reese. Caitlin is white. She is she's the biggest star the league has ever seen in its 29-year history. LeBron James will tell you as much. Ain't no party like a Diddy party, but he also loves Caitlin. Okay. And Tom Brady is a fan. She's got fans all over. Like the creme de la creme is are fans of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese, who is a black player, same age, came out of the NCAA at the same time. And Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look at this footage from last Saturday's game.
And look how Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks away.
Now, Bill, talk to us about what's going on vis-a-vis Caitlin, Angel Reese, and the WNBA's utter refusal to deal with the harassment, aggression, and frankly, the attempts to injure Caitlin Clark to the point that her career will be over by many, frankly, a black player.
So to go back to last year, to their first year in the league, Caitlin Clark came out, both together, but she came out with all the media attention. She was the spotlight. because of the way she played in college. And she's really redefined the game, much in the way that Steph Curry did to the NBA, the 3-point
And he's another
shot.
big fan of hers.
Right. It just changed the game. And Caitlin Clark is doing things out there that no one really has been able to do in the WNBA. I mean, she hits 3-pointers from the logo, close to half court, just plays a beautiful, fluid game. There's a jealousy aspect that's clear with Angel Reese. I mean, there's a play last year where Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark's going up for a layup, and Angel Reese comes in from the side and clotheslines her, just knocks her right to the ground with full arm, elbow right to the side of Caitlin Clark's head. You could see there's a dislike,
I mean, we know it. We know it now. I mean, Dave Portnoy came out and said Angel hates her, and not in a basketball way.
I need to interrupt you 1 second.
Okay.
Fuck Dave Portnoy for what he said about my Knicks. Sorry, go back.
Well, listen, your Knicks are breaking your heart. I tried to stick it out through the game knowing I was going to talk to you. And, what did they do? They blew it in the overtime. They had a huge lead and they blew it. And it's like going back to a toxic ex, everybody who's in it with the Knicks. But to this point, we were talking about the Knicks and Caitlin and Angel Reese. And, I was saying, so Spike Lee, who's been like a decades-long fixture in Celebrity Row, courtside at Knicks games, maybe he's mellowed, I don't know, but Spike Lee, there was never a racially charged incident that he did not love to insert himself into. And he's awfully quiet about this. I don't think he thinks that, Caitlin Clark is the problem here, is what I'm saying.
No, and you know what? I don't even know that this is a racially charged issue between the players. It's a competitive issue.
I'm not saying it is. But the WNBA's refusal to take this seriously, this sustained harassment of their star player, okay? They said they're opening an investigation in the aftermath of that game and that incident into racism against Angel Reese. Are you kidding me?
I think there's two different things at play there. Number one, listen, there's a racism problem, of course, in the country. And I think, from the time we were younger, it's improved, but there's still work to be done, of course. I've been to games you listen to athletes all over that they say, they've heard horrible slurs being said. Boston is one city that's famous for it. It's a problem. And I have no doubt that Angel Reese has heard those slurs out there in the court. That has zero to do with Caitlin Clark. The WNBA from last year, Caitlin Clark has been abused, fouled, chronically hard fouls, flagrant fouls. And it was more of what seemed to be a rite of passage, right? She's coming out of college. She's this hot shot. She's getting more attention in that league than every other player combined. And she had to take her beating through the league. Towards the end of last year, it started to subside a little bit, where it was okay. She's taken her beating. She never really said anything about it, and she just moved on. And I think that earned her a lot of respect through the league. Where Angel Reese has gone wrong is after that play last week, she's being interviewed and she said, "Ref got it right. Move on. Nothing to talk about."
Well,
right?
She also posted something to TikTok saying "white girl trying to fade," something like that.
Yeah, I once you put white girl in it, it changes the entire conversation, right? It puts the racial aspect of the whole dynamic.
Well, I think that's Angel Reese telling us that that's her problem with Caitlin Clark. I think that's what she's telling us. And you said something really, I thought, brilliant the other night, because you love to go to Knicks games. I mean, you're sitting them out because these are ridiculously expensive. But, at Knicks games, it's like, and New Yorkers are like, very confrontational people. But when you go to a Knicks game, it's like everyone of every different race, socioeconomic, whatever, they're shoulder to shoulder at these games.
Yeah, I mean, sports is one of it's supposed to bring us together, right? You go outside of the Garden during these games, you have all walks of life. You have every race, religion, creed. Everyone's standing there shoulder to shoulder. They're cheering on one team, everybody together. Years ago, when I would run some races with New York Roadrunners, I'd look around me, and it was the United Nations out there. It's everybody moving together, cheering each other on, and that's what sports is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a distraction from the everyday struggles of life. No one wants to see this in there. Everyone wants to watch a game. We love a good rivalry. I would love to watch Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark go at it the old way that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did. Those two hated each other. They played hard against each other. They wanted to destroy each other every game. But that's what it was. It was just competitive nature. Each wanted to beat the other. It wasn't, it could be shut down. This could be shut down so easily by Angel Reese by just coming out and saying, this is racial. I just want to beat her. I want to be the best. And everyone.
But that's not what it is. It's jealousy because Caitlin's a star and Angel will never be a star. And Caitlin is beloved by like the 1% of athletes in any sport, and Angel is not. And you see this a lot in tennis too. Like, those like one-on-one sports where it's like the rivalries go very deep. Like Chrissy Everett had one. I forget who was it. Martina, her antagonist, and like John McEnroe. And I think it was Bjorn Borg. And then later in life, they become great friends. They become because they're the only people who know what that was like. And I love those stories. Okay, I have a little bit of time left with you for our mini nerve. I have two people I want to get to you about. Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift is busy burning her friendship with Blake Lively to the ground right now, making sure that we all know she wishes they had never met, and I'm sure is the subject of the forthcoming album. Travis Kelce, who seems to be on like get your shit together orders from his organization. I don't even know who he plays for. This is how out of the loop I am with sports, but he has dropped a ton of weight. I bet you he's on the jab. Just my opinion. He has a terrible new haircut. He's got some facial hair, and he was just recently photographed. His back waxing is not going well. I mean, it looks like a westernmost state, like a Nevada or something on his back in hair form. What's going on there? And how many men do you think do have to get their backs waxed?
First of all, I wish the two of them would just go away. No one wants to watch football for Taylor Swift. No one wants to see the Chiefs on all the time in primetime games so we could see Taylor Swift in attendance. Travis Kelce, he lost a step last year. He's getting older, and it happens to all great athletes. But we don't want to see the Chiefs keep running him out there every game. Just let him go away. Go off into the darkness. And please, for the love of God, don't walk around with your shirt off with your back half waxed.
What kind of esthetician is he going to? His girlfriend is a billionaire. Get someone in your house to do it and invest in a full-length mirror and, check that stuff out.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think is the top of his back might have been so hairy that it like overtook the collar of his shirt and he looked like a caveman. So he did half of it so it didn't look that bad and then forgot. I don't know. It's just
maybe it's too painful for him. Maybe the big tough quarterback, we women, we get waxed within an inch of our lives, and I'll tell you it's painful and we are tough, okay? Maybe he can't take it, Okay, my last celebrity I want to go in on you with is she's going to become part of our lives. I'm telling you right now, it's Violet Affleck, the college-age daughter of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, who recently wrote a college paper. I believe she's at Harvard. She's at Harvard or Yale. And it was about, I guess it was in some way, class inequality. So her story in her academic paper was that she had a fight with her mother for putting them all in a 5-star hotel in Beverly Hills. I believe I have the geography right. While LA burned to the ground. And she said her issue with her mother was that this felt like a very corporatist, materialistic move, to which I say, well, kid, if you want to go outside and like rough it in the LA wildfires, go right ahead. Please give me your thoughts.
So this comes from a kid that grew up in California who currently goes to Yale on the East Coast, right?
Yale, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we take planes back and forth across the country. I'm sure she's not flying coach. She's in a private jet. So it's very, Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Do as they say, not as they do when it comes to terms of the environment. I'm going to take the charters and, private planes and yachts, but the rest of you should listen to me when it comes to the environment. Like, I can't listen to this nonsense from kids. Like, and seriously, as parents, like, your kid's out there making an idiot of themselves. Stop it. Let her, tell her to stay away from the camera and not put this nonsense out there.
Apparently they tried this. I don't know if we talked about this when it happened, like 6 months ago, maybe. Violet Affleck spoke at like a community board hearing in Los Angeles, masked up, still wearing the mask, saying she wanted to mandate mask wearing in that community. And apparently, Ben and Jen later somehow leaked that they did not agree with it and didn't want her to do that. And I just think we're looking at a manifestation. I mean, talk about white privilege, a phrase I hate, but like you're literally your mother and father have banded together. As we know, J-Lo was throwing, glassware across her $65 million mansion when Ben went to scoop her up, but, scooped them up and probably took them to the Beverly Hills Hotel. I mean, are Ben Affleck and Jen Garner going to stay in a Holiday Inn? I think not. Okay. Does Violet Affleck really want to stay in a Holiday Inn? I think not. But she has the temerity to say, I told my mother, this is wrong. We should not be staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel where I can get an $80 McCarthy salad or go down to the diner and get a milkshake whipped up post haste. This is wrong. And we should be with poor people? What?
Yeah, I mean, and the other part of it is like you're putting this out there in the universe for everybody to see. I don't know. Like as parents, what you said about them leaking it out that they tried to stop her from going to the community event masked up. I mean, I don't know how as a parent you leak that about your kid, like you defend your kid till the end of the earth, right or wrong. You defend them in public and you educate them in private. And then for her to do this, like it really must be something special going on in that home that they are throwing each other under the bus publicly in this manner. It just baffles me. Absolutely baffles me.
I couldn't agree with you more. I can't wait for the memoir that one of these three children will inevitably write. I remain fascinated by Ben Affleck and a fan, but his kid is of age now and she's making noise and she wants to be noticed and it's up for public discussion. There's no putting that genie back in that bottle. And Bill, I want to thank you once again for dispensing some common sense wisdom. Defend them in public, educate them in private, I think could apply to many things in many areas of life. And, just brace yourself for the Knicks to break your heart, okay?
Not happening. Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5.
I'll talk to you on the other side about that, my friend. Okay, thanks for coming on the Nerve, the mini Nerve.
Thank you for having me. Great talking.
Bye, Bill.
Bye.
And that's it for our bonus Memorial Day edition of The Nerve. Thanks again to Bill, and thanks to all of you troublemakers for joining me. Have an incredibly relaxing, fun, joy-filled weekend, and we will see you back here next week. Remember, it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, because of the holiday weekend. So we will see you back here Wednesday morning at The Nerve, where you will never guess what we are about to say next.